Welcome back. Welcome back. Wilmer Leon here, politicsincolor.com. Politicsincolor.com. We are coming to you live from the Republican National Convention in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And not only is this an American domestic convention and issue, there has an international impact as well. And we're joined now by Alan Zeng, president of the Sound of Hope Network. Alan, thank you so much for joining us. Talk to us a little bit about Sound of Hope Network, where you're from, and what it is. What's the message that you all communicate?
Okay, so we are based in San Francisco. Okay, and we do two things. One thing is that we broadcast actually into China through, if you still know, through shortwave. And back in the Cold War, you broadcast to Soviet Union through shortwave, because China, every single media in China is state-owned or the party-owned. Okay, you really just cannot have your private or citizen-owned media. Okay, but in order to send a voice into China, you have to do that from outside of China. That's what we do. So around China, like in Taiwan, Korea, and India, we set up shortwave station broadcasting to China with the factual information and censored information. That's one thing that we do. Another thing is that we broadcast to Chinese American in this country. Okay, through 12 stations. Originally, that's what we do, and now we expand to YouTube. We have we probably own 50% of the political talk or current affair talk in Chinese language on YouTube. Yeah, that's what we do. We serve Chinese American.
And how many Chinese languages or dialects do you all communicate in?
Mainly just two. One is Mandarin. It's called Mandarin Chinese. Right. Another is Cantonese Chinese. Right. In Hong Kong, southern Canton, southern China.
Is there a prohibition for native Chinese to listen to Sound of Hope, or are there any prohibitions against listening to? Is anything going to happen to someone in China listening to Sound of Hope? Yeah,
it's theoretically it's illegal to listen to our broadcasting, but so many people are doing so. So they really cannot just catch everyone. So it become not politically incorrect. It's just illegal to listen to, but people still do. Yeah, we estimate to have 20 to 30 million people in China listening to us.
And if you could give just two or three main differences between the messages or the perspectives that you all are communicating and what is being communicated through mainstream Chinese press.
Yeah, that's just a lot. Okay, so we talk about first. Okay, media in China largely is positioned as the propaganda of the regime, of the government. The goal is to so that people only know things to make sure that the ruling of the government is not disrupted or destabilized. What do? We report things as is. Okay, but which includes human rights violation against Christians, Catholics, underground church, the meditation exercise of Falun Gong, Tibetans, and Uyghurs, and so on and so forth. We don't censor ourselves. We think those are newsworthy. People have a right to know it. And the government, you block us, you jam us, we figure out a way to break through those jamming. So we force the information into China. That's what we do.
In terms of the issue with the Uyghurs, there are those who will argue that story for a great part was sensationalized, and that its primary source was one source, and when you do research on the issue, you peel back the onion a few layers, and you always wind up in the same place. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, that's. The issue is the source of information is controlled. It's very hard. We are journalists. Okay, typically if we report something important or very critical, you need to have at least two independent sources, right, to validate that. But that's really a luxury to most news from China, not just Uyghurs and other parts too.
Sure.
So you have to make a professional, make your best judgment. and you put the disclaimer there.
Mm-hmm.
That's the best you can do.
Mm-hmm.
But time goes on. There's cell phone, there's a communication device in people's hands, information leak out of China, and eventually we still can collaborate that. But indeed, what you said is true. For Uyghur news, we cannot report too much because it's very hard for us to collaborate that.
Mm-hmm.
That's the challenge.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You know, another story that is very prevalent in the Western media has to do with COVID and the source of COVID.
Yeah.
And COVID was started in a laboratory in China.
If you ask my opinion,
Yes.
that's true.
Okay.
That's true.
Now, was that a collaborative effort? Because there are those who say that laboratory was partially funded by the United States FDA. I think.
Yeah, that's not surprising. Okay, not surprising because China and the U.S. has all kinds of.
I'm sorry, not FDA, the CDC, Center for Disease Control.
Yeah. They have. I think it's like NIH.
NIH as well. Yes,
National Institute of Health. There's all kinds of joint program, which a U.S. government or foundation allocate grant for Chinese people to do certain things. Okay, and this got a function enhancement. That kind of a virus on a virus.
Politics and Color will be right
very,
back.
very controversial. So you cannot quite do that in this country. You have to go through
Milwaukee, Wisconsin, it's the 2020
regulation, but in China, just everything they can do everything. So they do have that freedom to do that. The situation I'm from, where the COVID come from Wuhan, right?
Yes.
I grew up
Wuhan province.
I
Yes.
grew up in that city. Okay, and my sister actually she graduated from the biology department of the Wuhan University.
Okay.
And she's now working at CDC,
Okay.
US CDC as a scientist. And
Here in the United States.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the director of the Wuhan Virology Institute, the virus institute, the director came from the same department as my sister.
Okay.
Yeah, but I did not get tip off by my sister. There's enough other information. Yeah, basically, yes, it's true. I think it's unintentional, but indeed, the grant went into that institute, and they just do this, function enhancement, experiment or test on the virus, and it's all very risky. And the defense, the immunity defense system is very, very loose. So in China, they are really, even they are level 4, level 5. This kind of institute, they are very loose on the, how do they control the substance and things like that. So they gets leaked out. That's how I see.
Final question, having to do with Taiwan and the United States change in not official change in policy, because the one China policy, two systems, one country is still the official policy of the United States. But from a practical application, that policy now is being modified. Your thoughts on the United States approach to Taiwan?
Yeah, I think the United States is taking this policy of intentional ambiguity. They don't say we're going to come to the aid of Taiwan. They don't say we don't. Okay, except sometimes Biden said, we will. But his State Department come back and pull it back. Because the so-called ambiguity, a strategic ambiguity, is the defined policy of the U.S. government in the last few decades. To me, I think, I'm a Chinese American. I'm American. The way to keep peace is through strength.
Okay.
Peace through strength.
Okay.
If you show your weakness, you show your hesitation, your enemy will encroach. So what I see, actually, U.S. is powerful enough to intimidate Chinese government into non-action.
Okay.
And the U.S. government should do that. I have a very clear position there.
The United States government should do that.
Get rid of the
Okay.
ambiguity,
Okay.
saying that you invade, we will come there. We'll go there.
Okay.
So the result is not the U.S. government will go there. Our troops will be there. Is that they are not to move.
So to those who would say that following the two system, one country perspective, then you can't invade your own country.
Well, the two system, one country actually is regarding Hong Kong. For the Taiwan, it's really U.S. never recognized the sovereignty ownership of Taiwan to the PRC,
Okay.
People's Republic of China.
Okay.
And legally, there's no problem, maintaining that,
Okay.
Keeping the,
Okay.
independence of Taiwan.
Alan Zeng, president of Sound of Hope. Thank you so much for your time. Greatly, greatly appreciate it.
Okay.
Thank you for joining us at Politics in Color.
Okay. Thank you, Wilma.
Folks, politicsincolor.com is where you are. We are here live. I'm Wilmer Leon. We are here live in Milwaukee, Wisconsin at the Republican National Convention. There's a whole lot more. Stay right here.